Hi everyone, welcome to a brand new channel, sort of a brand new channel. My name is Etienne van Wyk, and we're going to talk about a lot of aspects regarding certain legal procedures. We're going to talk about life in general, a lot of, aspects that people consider every day, that they think about every day. And where I personally also have been involved in coaching, people asking for advice, etc., which is, just sometimes about life in general. But we're going to start off with a few episodes on divorce. What about divorce? I'm going to share my experience with you from what I've seen over many years. I've done more divorces in terms of being involved in the process as a legal expert and an accredited family and divorce mediator, commercial mediation, than I care to remember. But we're going to talk about divorce. And we're going to talk about the myths around that, the process, and whether you are contemplating divorce, thinking about it at the moment, whether you are smack bang in the middle of one with no end in sight, often happens too many times, or whether you've already been divorced and you're battling with seeing eye to eye with a settlement, and your children are young and there's still 16 years left and it's strenuous and a lot of conflict, or you're in a second marriage or a third marriage and you've got a combined family, and it's your kids, my kids, our kids. And it's just actually, in a big sense, robbing you of your joy or financial resources. You just see the money is flowing out and you don't know how to stop it, how to control it. My experience, it's twofold. The one being an expert, being involved with from a legal perspective with divorces. But I myself got divorced in my early 30s. And what's that? It must be about 23 years ago, around that. And with 3 small children, I know the pains. I spent the last over 20 years in a combined family. And dealing with ex-wife, ex-husband like you, and the challenges on that, and the mistakes you make. And so my videos is not about legal advice, and the reason for that is every case is different. Any good legal expert will tell you that. It's just about guidance, just sharing, and in the process it helps people. And the reason why I'm doing this is because so many of my clients, friends, family said, Etienne, please share this, because if I knew this when I started my divorce, it would have been totally different. If I if I had this sort of guidance, I would have not went down the path that I did. If you want to know more about me, my bio, description of myself, when you click on the About, you will see my experience and qualifications, etc. You will also be able to get in contact with me from there. But let's start out talking about divorce. When you have that discussion, or sometimes it's just jumped on you, you know, and you didn't see it coming. And I know people would say, you know, he or she didn't want to see it coming, etc. But it's not true. I can tell you, I believe you when some people say, I didn't see it coming. It happens. And always remember that I would say in 99% of divorces, there's always one person that they don't really want to get a divorce. It's not coming from them. They still feel there's hope, etc. And some of them, they don't want a divorce at all. And because they feel that they, you know, for various reasons, you know, security, etc. But sometimes they feel that they married the love of their life. And man, that can be a hard thing to go through, right? Secondly, you have small children, and suddenly you think, listen, I didn't ask for this. And now I have to go into a process where I negotiate to see my own children, you know, 50% of the time or whatever that contact rights, you know, are going to be. And it makes you angry, but it also fills you with fear and sadness and all of that. And it's all normal, okay? Because you feel that you're being forced into something that you've never asked for. And many people react with great anger, frustration, disappointment, you know, all of those emotions. And here's the thing. Many of them, the first thing that once they've gone over that sadness, they want to see blood, you know. And they just want somebody that, you know, and many people in divorce especially, with those emotions, they feel they want to destroy the other person. And, you know, I'm not, you know, trying to protect my colleagues or whatever in this case, you know, but just dealing with this for a long time. As a society, we sort of create those attorneys and divorce attorneys, you know, and you get them all over the world. And they've got all these surnames, John Bulldog and Peter Bull Terrier and Jenny Shark, you know, whatever. Those are not real names. I don't know if they even exist. It's just for example purposes. And oh, you get this person, they will destroy the other party, you know. And actually our system does not cater for that. Okay. And like a well-known, you know, well-known person in the world recently said, after 8 years, I found out, you know, going through a divorce that lasted over 8 years, that me and my ex-wife, we were the only losers. And that's true in many instances. And many people approach people like me or change over to somebody else or whatever, and they've been fighting for 2-3 years with no end in sight, and then get divorced fairly quickly. Because, you know, they speak for themselves. There are a number of aspects that come into play why it then gets concluded. And yes, divorce can have a huge impact on all your resources. Financial, trauma, psychological, impact on your life, impact on your children if there's children involved, etc. And in many instances, that is more than often totally unnecessary. Right. So when you have that discussion now, listen, I want a divorce, and you start fighting, it's not, in that moment, it's not amicable. And sometimes it starts out amicable and then it quickly shifts into a fight because you now have to separate lives. You often get, and let's talk about the myths about that. You often get the threats coming. Okay, you're never going to see the children. I'm going to financially ruin you. I'm going to take your children away from you. Absolute nonsense. For a court in South Africa to take away your parental rights and responsibilities, there must be something seriously wrong. And I'll say this here. In all the cases I've done, and there were many, and colleagues, right, and I've never seen it in person, right. The worst case scenario that I've seen was supervised visitation. Okay, so, and suddenly there's sort of evidence being thrown around in the kitchen. I will tell them about this, and you know, from you know, I'm going to inform SARS about your VAT, or I'm going to tell them that you've smoked a stokie, you know, with a little bit of dagga in it, weed stokie, 15 years ago. People say anything because they're angry. In that moment, they're angry. And but just know that that is just emotion speaking. That is not the law, and it's not going to happen. All right. But it sometimes do fill people with fear. And sometimes you have, quite actually often, you have a marriage where people have been married, let's say, for 30 years. And the wife has been a home executive, let's call it that, looking after the children, creating a wonderful home, etc., etc. And she's never worked in terms of a business or in the corporate world, here and there, but not really. And the husband is a high-profile CEO of a very big company, clever, educated, absolutely used to negotiation, and, you know, like in control. And that wife, that woman, sort of got used to for 30 years to take his, you know, his lead. He's the leader. He made most of the big financial decisions. He was the breadwinner. But not only the breadwinner, he made 99% of all the money. So she's used to asking him for decisions and resources and, you know, etc. Now suddenly, that person finds herself in a position where she needs to negotiate for the rest of her life with somebody that she actually look up to. And we get that. And that woman, out of respect and sort of, you know, let's call it being submissive for a very long time, they will tell you, you know, me or whoever the person is handling it, you don't know my husband. He is extremely clever. You know, he's this and this and this, because that's the way she sees him. She in that moment, she's talking from a place of fear as well, that there's no way I can win this. And when he says to her, I'm going to take your children away, there's a big part of her that believes that. Okay. And that's why it's very important that you get involved with the right people, that you get the right person on your side. And people ask me, listen, Etienne, would that lady be okay if she just go into a normal mediation going up against this person. I'm not a fan of that, because self-determination without knowledge, listen to what I'm saying, self-determination without knowledge can be very dangerous. Okay, and very often that person needs legal counsel, etc. And that is why, I will never, ever say that there's no place for attorneys in mediation. That is not true. Absolutely not true. Okay. But if you have a mediator, and let me quickly switch over to that, and we're going to have a separate video on that, litigation, mediation, the forms, etc. But the major two forms of mediation, let me talk about that quickly, that we see in our country is facilitative mediation and evaluative mediation. I'm an evaluative mediator. Now, it started in America, and one of the prerequisites to be able to say I'm an evaluative mediator is, according to the American definition, you have to be an expert on the issues at hand. So if you're a legal expert, then you've done family law, you know divorces, right? So you can be evaluative. And what that means is that you can give guidance, not advice, because a mediator is always impartial, right? Always. And it's very important. But you can give guidance because you know the law. But apart from that, we as evaluative mediators, and there's a few of us at senior level, we do follow a process which we call shuttling, which means that we will mediate and see the individual parties on a one-to-one basis. There's this general perception that in mediation, every party must be present in the same room, on the same Zoom session, on the same, Teams meeting or whatever the platform is all the time, and you're not supposed. That is absolute nonsense. Okay, because you need to speak to that person very often alone to ensure you get the real objection. You understand what that party, when they can speak without duress and intimidation and undue influence, what is your expectation, okay, of getting divorced? And you don't have somebody talking on behalf of the other party, because in many instances they are still in the same home and haven't separated yet in terms of the matrimonial home. Sometimes they do immediately, but many people still have those discussions at night, although they find themselves at the beginning or smack bang in the middle of a divorce. And that's difficult. So what you want to do is you want to get each party's expectation of money, maintenance, get real information. We find, and I found that in that moment where this is it now, I'm getting a divorce, all the filters are gone. And, you get that raw emotion, but also raw truth, transparency, from, not necessarily always from the person who's going to lose something, but, from both parties in terms of how they've seen it and how they see it. And it doesn't matter if that, and if your expectation in that moment is realistic. You're not a legal expert. Nobody expects you to know the law. Very often in most cases, it's your first time getting a divorce. You have no idea of how this works. You don't even know what the difference is between the plaintiff and the defendant. And it doesn't matter. It's fine. Because if you land up with the right person and that can give you that clear guidance, you can save yourself a lot of trauma, money, just a lot of heartache, and, go through the process a lot quicker than in many cases. But it's important that you express your expectation. And a senior mediator will just close that expectation gap. And there's a saying, and I also believe in that don't try and get everything the way you want it. That's not always a good negotiation or a mediation. If you're 70-80% happy, you say, I can live with the other 20%. That's fine. You don't want one person to walk out 100% happy and the other person 30%. And it's very important at the end of the day that it's fair. That everything that we do is fair. And that there's a process of give and take. I'm going to stop it here. In the next videos, I'm going to discuss more about mediation versus litigation a bit. And, some of the processes that you can follow. And how you should start out. There will probably be a couple of episodes. And then we'll go over, post-divorce and many other things that people ask me about. Even assertiveness, which has got nothing to do with divorce. But we'll discuss all of that. If you've liked this video and you think it can benefit you or friends or family, please subscribe down below. Hit that subscribe button. Give me that big thumbs up that you've liked it. And then you will also be notified when we release the next video. Thank you for joining me.